is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different to our usual commentary. We're going to go to Instagram, and there's a reason why. It concerns Ethan Klein, who does not use Twitter anymore. He rage quit a while back. If he does use it, I never see it, not because I'm blocked. But he posts a lot of stuff via stories on that platform, and that is where we're going to go today. I was going to cover the Hassan Piker I got cancelled video, but man, you guys just don't like it when I'm nasty to him. Yeah. Alright, well anyway, we're going to look at the story because I find it quite fascinating. An individual called Froggy Tonic had tweeted, "Just learned 2 years before Ethan's dog's death, some H3 fans voiced concerns for his chronic vomiting pointing to kidney failure. Got shunned by other fans. Ethan declined the advice, stayed the course, cheese as treats, well he does pay the cheese tax. Fast forward, dog dies of kidney failure at 6 years old, a lifespan typically of 13 years. So now, how can you shun a fallen fan when they worry about their 3 kids, when they can't be bothered to protect their dogs? Little homie even ingested pills left on the floor, like, come on man." This is quite the accusation to make against any individual. It really is. And if you're going to make these claims in the online space, you need to provide evidence of it. You shouldn't just rely on, well, the evidence should be the audience goes and finds it themselves. No, that's not how this works. Because these are quite nasty to say. I have a 13-year-old dog, and I still paid the cheese tax. Some breeds obviously are more tolerant than others. No, I don't give her massive chunks of it. I'm not stupid. It's called cheese tax, not cheese tithe. It doesn't matter which platform you make these claims on, you have to back it in some way with something to cement it. I can understand that there may well have been someone that said this though. It's always possible. Now, Ethan, on his story, 3-page of story, had said these evil effing, are working around the clock. This former editor for iDubbbz said this: "I took Shredder to the doctor many times over the years. I told him repeatedly about Shredder frequently puking. He always told me it was normal for his breed. I told them about this odd bad breath, and the doctor kept telling me he was fine. The doctor never ordered blood testing, although he did some probably a year before and he was fine. Even the day before Shredder's diagnosis, I told my mother to bring him to the vet because he seemed off. We at the time were on a weekend vacation with kids and Healer's mum, and even then he told us he's fine. Vitals looked fine, and all is good. The very next day, Shredder started puking his dinner, so my mother, thinking she's being overly concerned, went back the next day and insisted we do a blood test. We got a call the next day saying Shredder had stage 4 kidney failure and needed to be hospitalised to have his kidneys flushed or he would die. He spent the next 3 days in the hospital, and while we got his values to go down, vitals I assume that meant, the damage was already done, and over the next 6 months the kidney continued to give out. This was one of the most painful and traumatic experiences of my life. I love that dog with my entire heart and soul. I would do anything for him. Using this as some psychotic own to impugn my character is just cruel and pathetic, on a level most humans aren't capable of. F you, you piece of poop, and F my, quote, friends, end quote, too, who I've stood by all these years, who now can't find their spine. I don't need any fair weather friends." This being a direct shot at iDubbbz and Anissa, because Ethan Klein has been his friend for a long, long time. Oddly silent at this point, isn't he? I guess he's getting ready for Creator Clash 3, another sinkhole for money to be wasted on that'll raise nothing for charity. People who put statements out here like this, Froggy Tonic that is, and I'm not trying to defend Ethan too much here, I don't have to. When you do put this out there without anything there, you are only seeking to do 2 things. 1, you are trying to make people think this is genuinely the case. You are, as he said, impugn character. You are trying to character assassinate through poisoning of the well. That's what you're trying to do. Because many in the online space, myself included, take animal abuse incredibly seriously. Anyone commits such a crime in my life, I would want it to be treated with a level of parity of esteem, a degree of separation from that of what you do to humans, because I genuinely believe if you're young enough and you start doing that at a young age, you're going to do it when you're an adult to people. The second thing it does is try to create drama to milk it, to farm it, when there is no drama to be had. You've made an assertion with nothing to support it, based on what information was available, and then you drew your conclusions with a form of confirmation bias. Ethan then reposted it again to his story by saying, "All this BS, because I hate Hamas, hate terrorists, and think a 2-state solution is the best option in the interim. Imagine being a privileged American college student whose greatest hardship is missing their dinner meal plan, who has never known danger, telling my wife who lived through the second Antifada anything about this conflict. Sorry, anything about this conflict. You are tourists. You don't know anything. F you, and if you think being cruel will stop me, it won't. I misspoke there, didn't I? Someone in the reply there, I noticed, he gets a super cringe tattoo commemorating the torturous, agonizing death. That's a very harsh thing to say. I had often speculated what I would do when my Lizzie passes away. She's 13, as I've stated earlier. I will more than likely have some of her ashes placed into a ring and I'll carry her with me. But I know some people who've had tattoos done. Hell, Lemmy, the singer of Motorhead, his ashes are in fact in James Hetfield. He got the tattoo done with the ashes in the ink, which I think is brilliant, quite frankly. An homage, as it were. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. You may think it cringe, but the word cringe in and of itself by these standards is now cringe. You're welcome. The third story, mostly focusing on the second tweet of Froggy Tonic. When Shredder was about 1 or 2, a guest at our house accidentally dropped an Adderall pill, wrapped in plastic, on the floor. Shredder picked it up and was tearing at the plastic. Once I realised what he was chewing on, I rushed him to Animal Hospital where they pumped his stomach. I once on the show wondered if this horrible accident could have damaged his kidney. Leave it to evil, obsessive freaks to turn that into another talking point. F anyone that openly associates with these freaks, who shouts out the snark subreddit, who uncritically accepts any of this vile poison without question. I will never forgive or forget any of you that participated in this. When it comes to trying to pwn another person, unless you can definitively prove ABUSE, this is not good luck for you. The accuser, that is. I'm not saying there's any level of skepticism in the online space, and there are going to undoubtedly be people in my comments telling me, "Oh, but Ethan's guilty." Wee! Please, bite your tongue behind your teeth for a bit. Calm your tits, have a biscuit. I'm not saying he's innocent at all. I haven't said anything to the sort. I'm saying the person making the accusation needs to prove it. Ethan is well within his right to be angry in response towards anyone, and he has found his spine and become increasingly more vocal about his disdain towards anyone that throws shade at him, anyone that says anything untoward, and rightfully so. You have to defend yourself as best you can, and he's actually provided some context that can be proven on an episode of H3, because he'd speculated on an episode. Now granted, you have to then go and find it, don't you? But for the sake of it, he still doesn't have to prove his innocence at all. And Froggy Tonic's comments are shitty. Straight up that. XiDubbbz video editor. Were you the one that edited the Rice Gum music video? That was the very first song I ever bought on the iTunes store years ago when I had an iPod Shuffle. I don't have a Shuffle anymore, so I don't have that music. Mostly because I've got my account deep. The point really is what iDubbbz was and what you were, to what you are now and what iDubbbz is now. In the case of iDubbbz, well, there are words. None of them alpha. Then again, none of the guys who claim to be alpha are alpha, really, are they? In your case, I'm not entirely sure, but I can see from the interactions of your tweets, you didn't get too much traction from this. You really didn't. And that tells me everything about Ethan, that he has seen this and gone, no, I don't care how big or small you are, you're getting a pasting. Where some will undoubtedly say, surely Ethan Klein is punching down. No, he's not, because that would indicate he is better than someone else. We're all the same. We really are. Every last one of us lowly oiks. We're all the same. You're welcome. Now there is more, because Froggy Tonic on Twitter decided to do exactly what I thought he would do. They would do. It would do. Right? They would go down the route of, but you're bigger than me and you're older than me and you should grow up. Brother, you're 39. Go pick up the leftover Lexus and Addies off the carpet and go clean the feces off your floor. Didn't one of your kids get Giardia? What's that? Come on, man, you're beefing with a rando who wants you and your family to be happy. Stop bathing in this toxic pattern. That is not... No. Your first tweet is straight up you asserting something quite inherently negative towards Ethan Klein. You can't say you wish his family to be happy by throwing that kind of accusation out there. That's not how this works. You cannot... It's contradictory. Now, he then tweeted... I'm not going to pull the classic Ethan Klein, and I'm going to let most of you be able to ask me to unalive myself. I'll clean the feces later, hoping my followers and the replies don't catch Giardia. You have to wonder if it's full Destiny fans, if we're even deeper in the weeds, or if it's legit just lovely little H3 fans. Little? Because I clocked it, Ethan. No fair weather Klein. You asked your audience to come say hello, but of course, I'm the harassing party, obviously. Ethan Klein did not do that. Ethan Klein attacked you himself. That's the point. Ethan Klein doesn't need anyone to bat for Ethan Klein. Really doesn't. You made an assertion, you were called out for it by the very person you made the accusation towards. If Ethan had just let that go, that could have blown up. It could have spiraled on its own. That's the point. If Ethan's going to hold you to account, it has to be because of what you've said. If you don't like that, that's quite alright. But you are the one that put this out there. When it comes to animals, my firm belief is if you have done something wrong, you should be arrested for it. But that doesn't apply to all states, it doesn't apply to all countries. In fact, most do not support that idea. If Ethan truly did something wrong, Ethan of course should answer for that. But what you've done is simply make the claim with nothing else. If you want to support or back it up with something that didn't just come from Reddit with no possible sources to back it, then you have asserted solely as a form of defamation even with your much smaller audience. And Ethan's age is utterly irrelevant, by the way. It really is. I didn't realise Ethan and I were the same age. I really didn't. I thought Ethan was older than me by at least 5 to 6 years. Now, Mr. Repsion, someone who I have, as many of you know, followed for the longest time, had tweeted, "This is so disgusting that anybody would use someone's dying pet against them in any context," citing a crazy stalker that he had that accused him of killing his dog because he gave the dog CBD chews that the doctor recommended for arthritis. I give my dogs a supplement spray which has goes onto their meat and biscuits in the morning. It has everything in there to help with any form of joint pains, and mercifully my dog doesn't have those issues anyway. She's still remarkably agile for a dog that is actually showing her age now. I swear people like this deserve to be, I can't even say it on here without being banned. I mean, you mentioned dying pet. I'm sure the word could fit there. Hanged, euthanized, eunuched, lobotomized. Any of those processes, really. I'm not big on anyone using passing pets. Although I should point out, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't point out, I have criticised Amberlynn Reid on this channel because she never found her cat, and it's highly likely her cat is no longer with us. She seems oddly happy for someone who's missing one of her fur baby, apparently one of the most important members of her family, and I've criticised her relentlessly for it. So, we've reached the end of the video, and I do apologise, this is a bit more stripped back again. I have a blinding headache. I'm really sorry. Both sides of my temple do not appreciate me today. It only started on the left at first. I'm going to be on Twitch later tonight, playing something. I can't remember what. I don't know. It might be Total War Warhammer. I might try that. Yes. If I don't see you on Twitch later, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining and thank you for listening. Ta-ta, everyone.